going to review the new Night Flight Orchestra album, Give Us the Moon. Now, many of you may be like, why are you talking about this band on a heavy metal show? Well, it has heavy metal musicians in it, and that is why I'm going to talk about it. So obviously there are members of Soilwork in this, most notably Bjorn Speed Strid. Really, really cool dude. Really good guy. Bjorn is, I've interviewed him a few times, really, really phenomenal singer. He'd be in my top 25 favorite vocalists of all time. The guy is an outstanding death metal vocalist, and he's also a great singer of AOR retro rock music, which is what Night Flight Orchestra is. Before I get into the record, let me say this. I can count on one hand how many times I like a side project or another band, somebody from a more notable band decides to form and record an album with. Give you some examples. Category 7. It's just got a bunch of people from a lot of really big bands. John Bush sings for the band, right? I do not like that band anywhere close to how much I like Armored Saint, right? But I have never, with a couple exceptions, I have never liked a side project or a second band better than the previous band somebody came from. With one of those exceptions, though, being the Night Flight Orchestra. I love Soilwork, folks. Soilwork is one of my probably one of my favorite bands of all time. The Night Flight Orchestra is probably one of the few times where I like the other band these guys are in just as much as the band they came from. Now it's different. It's considered AOR, more 70s and 80s retro rock, but everything about this group is amazing. It really is. And Give Us the Moon. In fact, Night Flight Orchestra has never put out a bad album. Every one of these records has been like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for me. This one is no different. I don't know what it is. There's something about the songwriting within this group that has really inspired me, has really had a profound positive effect on me. I would say the earlier stuff has more of a 70s vibe to it, like the first, I don't know, couple albums at least. And then they kind of moved into the more 80s, 70s, 80s, like early 80s to mid 80s retro rock type stuff. But it's amazing to me to listen to a band like Soilwork, which is basically mostly a death metal band, a melodic death metal band. And then you hear most of these guys come into this band. You hear Speed come into this band, sounding the way that he does, writing the songs that they do. But it's a great record. Has a total 70s, 80s vibe to it, like all of their music pretty much does. And it's a band that I absolutely love. So how would I rate this compared to their other albums? So you had Aromantic 2, and then obviously the first one. I like it better than those two albums. Those two albums were great. I like Give Us the Moon better than both of those records. Hard to say. I like the second album, Skyline Whispers. I love that one a lot. But it's really hard to rank this one. It really is difficult for me to figure out. Every song on it, obviously, in my opinion, is phenomenal. There's a song called Stewardess, Empire's Hot Mess, and The Captain of Pain. That's the last song. That's definitely one of the better songs in the album. In fact, if you were to go listen to this record, I would say the second half of it is better than the first half. Just my own preferences. I have it on vinyl as well as CD. Side 2 starts with Cosmic Tide. I think from track 8 to track 13, that's the best side of the album. It's like the further you get into it, the better it sounds. But it's like this band places the melodies in the right place. The songwriting is like perfect from the era. Like if this band had come out in the 80s or the 70s, they would be huge. Unfortunately, the music industry is not what it used to be, but they would be huge. And of course, you're always in Soilwork, because they've ended up getting a lot more melodic. You can't help but figure that a lot of the influences and the musical influences that have influenced the Night Flight Orchestra kind of made its way into Soilwork. I think Bjorn Speed Stritt has become a better singer since he started doing the Night Flight Orchestra. I think he sounds better. Not only is he a clean vocalist, but obviously his death metal vocals have always been phenomenal. He's just a unique frontman. He really is. Now, the last few Soilwork albums have been awesome. You know, they had a little bit of a dip at one point where some of the records weren't so great. But in general, over the last, let's say 15 years, they've been pretty good. So I like this album. Title track, A Paris Point of View, Runaways, Way to Spend the Night. The second half of the album is better than the first. That's kind of how I look at it, folks. What do I rate this album? Give it a 9 out of 10. Great record. Not sure where I rank it in their discography. It's definitely probably in the top half. That's hard. But if you like 70s and 80s AOR retro rock, even if you are watching it, say for whatever reason you stumble across this video and you're not into heavy metal music, you would probably dig these guys. Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command Podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on the show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified when you have a new video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate